Hello guys, welcome to the long-awaited CringeAlarm's Peni guide. This is the most advanced and in-depth guide you will see on YouTube. 250 collective hours in total from beta playtime and last season. For my credentials, I hit rank 7 OTPing Peni, finished top 200. I have a very good win rate with her even in high ranks. And I have probably the most knowledge on this character over anyone else. This is going to be the first part of a multi-part long series. This episode I'm going to be covering her basic kit and hidden features of all her abilities, how I personally play Peni, matchups, maps, and good team comps to run with Peni. So let's get started. I will go over abilities one by one and then talk about how you should use them in your game. I highly recommend watching through the rundown of her abilities, as you might not know some hidden interactions. Before we start, head into your settings on Peni and look at the Cyber Bond sensitivity setting and lower that to 1. This stops you from grappling onto your existing webs by accident, which wastes the ability. I'll run through our passive and hidden passive quickly before starting with the rest of the kit. You want to stay in her webs at all times, no exceptions. This gives the ability to survive longer, as well as lock down areas hard by yourself, and it increases your dueling potential. So please always have a web underneath you. It heals you for 25 HP per second and also gives you ult charge from your healing, while also granting you move speed, excess healing, and that converts into 150 HP shield, which people cannot generate ult off, so make sure you always have it up to be tankier, faster, and to deny the enemy team ult charge from poke. This shield portion can stack up to 100 shields per second with the nest and your 3 webs. I wouldn't advise using this as your webs are super valuable. Another thing to note with webs is that they hide mines, meaning they cannot be seen or shot when in them, so it is essential you manage your webs correctly to not reveal mines, as you only have a limit of 3. Spider drones, which come out of the nest, travel along other webs too, like your ult and even Loki's abilities after he's copied Peni, so always make sure the nest is down before you ult. Her primary fire. Good potential close range, however there is damage fall off. There is AoE, meaning you can damage multiple enemies at once if they're grouped, and it's particularly good at dealing with stacks in the more turrets. For her Cyber Snare, everyone knows how good this ability is. A stun on a 3-second cooldown. Look to stun people when they're in your nest to secure 3 kills, and stun the enemy front lines so they take massive damage. This ability also leaves behind a web. Try use this ability to shut down flankers and to stun people who walk into your nest for big burst damage. Additionally, if you know the enemy has an upcoming ult, make sure to keep your stun off cooldown to counter them. So for example, Strange Ult and Scarlet Witch. He has ult 100%, that's why he wants to get back to the fight so bad.
Knock on point.
I told you, what did I say? What did I say? For her Arachno-Mine, this ability is where you'll be getting your most kills from. Each mine does 100 damage, so 3 mines will kill squishy heroes with under 300 HP, and 7 for most tanks, which is under 650, and 9 for Groot since he has 850 HP. Each mine has a cooldown of 4 seconds, and you can have a max of 15 out at once. I'll explain in the playstyle section and how and where to place mines to get the most value. A hidden tech you might not know is that you can hide them inside walls so they cannot be seen. Be careful where you place them though, as they can still be destroyed. Look to place these in highly contested areas like high grounds and flank routes. If you learn the map and flanks DPS take, it is very easy for you to pick up a kill at the start of the fight. Always be checking where you see the DPS posted up. A lot of the time they will retrace their steps again at some point. When on attack and possessing a high ground, spamming mines into the backline can make it easier killing support and making space for your team. Make sure you do this after you set up your other mines though, to protect yourself. A lot of the time they will try run away or push you, but since you are already set up they won't be able to push you without risking dying. One last thing to note is that mines do not detonate on mag bubbles. For her Spider Nest, this is her most important ability. It allows you to lock down areas so well and sustain yourself. It has 350 HP, super useful in them 1v1s. So they even have to focus you with the passive regen or waste their time shooting 350 HP. In each situation it's a win-win for you though. It spits out 2 drones and creates 2 more every 3 seconds for a total of 10 drones. Each deals 40 damage for a total of 400 when it's fully stacked. These drones will immediately start tracking enemies who walk into its web, and its range can be increased with your other abilities that deploy webs, like your stun, your movement ability, and your ultimate. If you see it taking damage, destroy it before it gets too low, as this will increase the cooldown. I always aim to be constantly repositioning my nest where I am at all times. Don't leave your nest ever, it is your baby, cradle it, and always have it deployed with you. That said, destroying it too early can stop the drones from building up, so keep that in mind when you're traversing around. You need to keep a medium. In lower ranks, which is gold and below, the nest is the most important ability, as people don't really destroy it as much, but when you start getting higher up, her cyber bond movement ability is your bread and butter. So for her cyber bond, her most skill expressive ability by far. If you want to get to those higher levels of play with this character, this is the ability you need to utilize most. A good Peni player is using this ability to its maximum potential. It's a fast dash with a 3-second cooldown. You have more mobility than a lot of flankers and other dive tanks like Hulk and Venom. I'll explain more of this ability in the playstyle section. For Spider Sweeper, guys, I'm gonna be for real, this ult sucks. You remove all your abilities, go melee and restrict your movement. In return, you get 450 shield health, a knock upon melee, and you poop out mines. It's just not good. Always make sure to be placing your nest before you ult, as the drones from the nest will follow your ult webs. And the only time I use this ult is when I'm about to die so I can run off, or cut a choke before overtime when the enemy tries to engage. It can semi-counter Invisible Woman ult, because Peni ult is 12 seconds and Invisible Woman is 8, meaning if you pop your ult a few seconds after shields, you can cover the whole area where the enemies are grouped, so when the ult ends, it has potential to get some kills. But other than that, it's kind of doo-doo. So be careful using it, as you can get yourself killed with it very easily. Also be careful, as if you're caught in the wind-up, it can be cancelled and all your bonus HP just gets removed. For the Teamup, I don't really have a lot of playtime on with all my hours. And when I do have it, I only use it to burst down like low HP targets and for damage reduction. The CC immunity it gives you though, you can survive ultimates like Jeff and Strange ult because you're CC immune. So for her playstyle, I'm going to be breaking this into sections. It will make it a lot easier to apply into your games. I have my general playstyles and then I will explain what modes to use them on. So let's go. Bunker. Bunker is my main playstyle across all modes and on attack too. The main concept of Bunker is to deny an area of the map and to protect your DPS on the high ground or other contested spots. This playstyle allows Peni to use all her tools in the best way, and that is when the enemy is coming towards you. Your passive heals will keep you up when you're alone or deep into the enemy backline, and you are very self-sufficient, especially if you're near a health pack. For example, on Clintar defense, I will bunker down the choke with piles of mines to one-shot the tanks which try to push through. This makes it super difficult for the enemy team to break through. A thing to note is, placing your mines as close together as possible will make your one-shots a lot more consistent. On attack on Clintar, I will flank and bunker down the high ground room overlooking the point. When bunkering, always place the nest first, then set up mines on entrances and exits, which I normally use 3, and other places enemies can push from. Only then can you start shooting the team. If you're unprepared, the enemy team will just push you and you will fall over. The plan here is to draw as much attention as possible to make the most space for your team. You can pick up kills along the way from careless enemies that try to push you alone. Also apply my tip from my Arachno-Mine rundown to make it easier to secure kills on supports. The next playstyle is to dive. Diving comes after your bunker, usually after you've secured a few kills. You want to try snowball your lead. To do this, use your mobility to push solo targets. Let's say you kill a support in your bunker, look to dive the solo support. Even if you trade 1 for 1, it's usually worth, as the enemy team will no longer be receiving heals. Another way to use this playstyle is to contest enemies who are alone. Try and look for DPS who are isolated and grapple on top of them. Using your stun while you place your nest, as it gives the healing and 1v1 power you need to kill a DPS alone. Another thing to note is to use your mobility to grapple onto uncontested high grounds to again pressure the enemy backline. The next playstyle is peeling. Peeling means to defend your vulnerable targets on your team, which is usually your supports. You can do this 2 different ways, and I'll separate them to make it easy. I've separated it into hard peeling and soft peeling. Hard peeling is when you commit your nest to your supports to help them defend against flankers. You will stay with them and babysit. Look to stun the flankers when they engage on your supports, and they should be an easy kill. So yeah, that's why it's so valuable to put your nest on your DPS and your supports, right? Did you see how I just left my nest? And it literally nearly killed their magic. The magic tried engaging and she literally just died.
TP, can someone stun them? Nope.
I can't. For soft peeling is when you don't use your nest to help your supports and instead use your cyber bond to grapple towards them while the enemy flankers are engaging. This gives you a lot more freedom to keep your nest at the choke or wherever you are set up, but protects your supports less. To know which one to use, look at the enemy comp. If the team includes an Iron Fist, Panther or Spider-Man or any other flankers which can threaten supports, I'd choose to hard peel. Sometimes supports can deal with them on their own, so you can go back to soft peeling or just to completely ignore them. For domination, use what playstyle suits the map. For example, Yggdrasil, domination. The throne room, you can use a combination of bunkering the choke points or diving the high grounds where the supports usually sit. For Odin's Archives, which is the very vertical map, it is very difficult to set up, so look to dive the backlines as tanks and DPS usually drop to point, while supports will sit in the back. If the enemy team does drop with them, just bunker where they should have been and pressure them that way. If something is not working, look to change your playstyle. For matchups, I have a picture of my tier list of hero matchups on screen now. For details, I did a video with KQ, which is one tip versus every hero for individual matchups. For maps, picture on screen of the tier list of maps. They are placed based on how easy it is for setup and cut off flank routes. Usually the more open the map is, the worse it is for Peni. Videos will be coming soon on how I play each individual maps, my setups, nest spots, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss them. For team comps, typical classic 2-2-2 is your most ideal comp. Make sure to run a main tank, which usually is a Groot, Mag or Strange, so your team has a good front line as you won't be with them as much. For 3-1-2, which is 3 tanks, 1 DPS, 2 supports, it usually lacks consistent damage, especially if you're running Peni, and it gets destroyed if the enemy locks certain characters like Rocket Punisher and Wolverine. For 1-3-2, which means you're solo tanking, I never really recommend solo tanking on Peni. No exceptions. Your team is left without a front line, and you get hard focused with no way of mitigating damage. And without a shield, you just die quickly. Don't force Peni with this, guys. Same applies with 1-2-3. For 2-1-3, which is 2 tanks, 1 DPS, 3 supports, Peni can work in situations with 3 support comps, especially if it's a good Peni map. However, lacking a DPS for that consistent damage doesn't usually work, so either change to DPS or support. With 3 supports being so popular at the moment, it is no coincidence why Peni dropped nearly 2% win rate. She doesn't work very well with or against it. Her ult struggles at punishing when support ults are down, and it generates slow, and she doesn't have the necessary damage on demand to burst through 3 supports healing. The only way to kill a support is to have them walk into mines. Stay tuned though, as this is only the first part. I will start with the best Peni maps first and work downwards. If you enjoy this video, like, comment to help boost this video for the algorithm and for the rest of the Peni community, and thank you guys for all the support. You can follow me on Twitch, and just stay tuned, guys.
Boo! You suck!